Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about different ways for us to resolve this cognitive dissonance if we have any. So the first way to resolve this cognitive dissonance is to modify our cognitions. You could either modify your behavior or your attitude. So let's say, for example, how do smokers approach or address their cognitive dissonance? So earlier we have said that smokers, they may experience some dissonance or this cognitive inconsistency between their beliefs and their behaviors. So for one thing, they believe that smoking is pretty bad for their health and smoking may cause cancer. And on the other hand, they are smoking, they are addicted to it. So they may experience this inconsistency between their belief and behaviors. And this dissonance may cause some discomfort feelings. So to address this cognitive dissonance and this psychological distress or discomfort, the smokers can do several things to resolve this dissonance. The first one is they could modify their behaviors or their attitudes. For instance, they could potentially change their smoking behaviors, such as quit smoking. But we know it's pretty hard. Alternatively, the smokers, they could modify their beliefs or their attitudes. They could say, well, I don't really smoke that much, so it won't cause lots of harm to my body, to my health. Or sometimes they think, I'm lucky, I'm always lucky. I won't get cancer from smoking. So we can see that they are trying to make some alterations to their cognitions in order to reduce this discomfort that this person has in their attitude and behaviors. So I also have another example here, the media example, to illustrate this modification way to resolve cognitive dissonance. So let's take a look at this video. Please play video 2 below. And this video will illustrate how Phoebe modify his belief to be consistent with her behavior. Okay, welcome back. So we can see that Phoebe, he holds a belief that she should never cancel a date with her friends. At the same time, her lover, I think his name is David, right? His romantic lover is coming back from Minsk, Russia, for one night. So she is struggling right now. To resolve this cognitive dissonance, she, easily changed her belief that she should never cancel a date with her friends. So this is an example how people modify either their attitude or belief to be consistent. And second way for us to resolve this cognitive dissonance is we want to make things less important. We call it to trivialize either the attitude or our behaviors. So still take the smoking as an example. So these smokers, to address this cognitive dissonance, they may say, well, the evidence is pretty vague that the smoking causes cancer, right? Or sometimes they say, well, smoking is not that bad, smoking is not that serious or severe. So in this situation, they are trying to trivialize the harm of their attitude, of their behaviors. And here I have again a video example to illustrate this way to resolve this cognitive dissonance. And this is still from Friends, Ross and Rachel's breakup. So please pause this video here and play video 3 below and take a look at this example and then come back to this lecture. I'll explain it. Okay, welcome back. So we can see that in this video, Ross and Rachel, they broke up and Ross kind of was cheating on Rachel. He slept with another girl. So in this situation, Ross, he was experiencing some cognitive dissonance. So on one hand, he believes that he should show, fidelity to Rachel through their relationship. But his behavior is in a different way. It's pretty inconsistent. So he slept with another girl. So to address this cognitive dissonance, Ross was trying to trivialize his cheating behavior by saying, well, this I slept with this girl, but it means nothing. It is not a serious relationship. So he was trying to downplay the importance of his behavior. He was trying to make it less important. Now, the third way that this contradiction can be resolved is we want to add more information into our cognitions. For example, get back to the smoking example. Some smokers may say, well, I know that I smoke and smoke a lot. And I also know that smoking is pretty bad for my health. But I exercise regularly, really on a daily basis. So the bad things, the cancer, it won't happen to me. So we can say in this situation, these smokers, they try to resolve this cognitive dissonance by adding more cognition to it. So they claim that they exercise every day. So smoking won't, this will kind of balance out the bad outcomes caused by smoking. So in this way, they can now pretty much resolve this cognitive dissonance by adding more information or cognitions. And please note that this information or this cognition can be added to both your attitudes and your behaviors. So here I have the video 4 as an example for this way to resolve the cognitive dissonance. So take a look of this video, Phoebe's fur coat. Pause here and take a look of this video and come back, I'll explain it. So welcome back. We can see that Phoebe, her animal protection attitudes are going against her fur-wearing behavior. So to address this cognitive dissonance, she added some information. She added one cognition to resolve this dissonance, which is she believes that the minks are not so cute, they are mean. Okay. So this is one way we could kind of resolve this cognitive dissonance, adding more information, adding more cognition to your attitudes. And we could also add some information or cognitive to our behaviors. So here I have another video clip showing you this way to resolve the cognitive dissonance. It's from the Big Bang Theory, and let's take a look at this video. Okay, welcome back. So in this video, we see that Sheldon believes the present from Penny is super valuable. It is so good. And he perceives that his present for Penny is not sufficient to reciprocate the napkin used by Leonard Nimoy, right? His favorite actor. So to address this dissonance or to address this insufficiency, so he could add something to his behaviors, which is a hug with Penny, which is really rare for Sheldon. That's the third way to resolve cognitive dissonance, which is to add more information on your attitudes or your behaviors. And last one is we can deny our cognitions or refuse to accept the cognitions. We could potentially say something like, oh, they are not related. There is no influence, right? For example, for the smoking people, for smokers, one way to deal with this cognitive dissonance is they deny that smoking is bad for health. Smoking can cause cancer. They may say, well, smoking is not related with cancer, and they do not have any influence on cancer. Okay, and also I found a video clip from friends to show how Ross denies Rachel's pregnancy to deal with this surprise or shock or this cognitive dissonance. Okay, welcome back. We can see that Rouse, he chooses to, deal with this shock or this cognitive dissonance is to deny the fact that Rachel is pregnant or Rachel is having his baby. Okay, and next I'm gonna ask you guys to kind of take a look of this classic experiment which proved the existence of this cognitive dissonance in our mind. So please watch this video 7. This is a very short 5-6 minutes video, and take a look of this video and try to understand the procedure of this experiment, how these two researchers prove the existence of cognitive dissonance. And this classic experiment will be in your first exam. So please make sure you watch this experiment and understand everything there. Okay, welcome back. I hope you like this experiment because I found this experiment very interesting and very insightful in terms of proving this cognitive dissonance in a very subtle way. So this is pretty much all the information I want to talk about regarding this cognitive dissonance theory. So let's get back to the first two examples I showed you guys at the beginning of our class, the sour grapes and the Stockholm syndrome. So after learning all this kind of the materials regarding this theory, can you make the connections? Can you use this theory to explain the fox psychological status, what he was thinking, how what makes him think in this way when he cannot reach the grapes, and how can you use the theories to explain the Stockholm syndrome? Okay, I'm pretty sure that you got the correct answer in your mind. So for the fox, he cannot reach the grapes, and then he is experiencing some kind of cognitive dissonance, right? So for one thing, he wants the grapes, but for another, he cannot get it. So in this situation, he got to modify his cognition to match the behavior or the outcome of his behavior, right? By thinking that the grapes must be sour, must be undesired. So in this way, he won't experience any cognitive dissonance anymore. And for this Stockholm syndrome, these victims, they are being abused, being kept by the criminals. So they developed some positive feelings towards the criminals. It can be partially attributed to the fact that the victims, they are seeking for some consistency between their attitudes and their behaviors. So in this way, they got to develop, or they gradually develop some positive feelings of bondings with criminals. Okay, I hope these two explanations do make sense for you guys. Let's say exercise. So I'm gonna ask you guys to identify a media scene. It could be from a movie or TV show where the character is experiencing the cognitive dissonance. I'm gonna ask you guys to explain 3 things. The first one is what cognitive dissonance does this character experience? Second, from your perspective, evaluate the likely magnitude of dissonance. And third one, how does this character address the dissonance? If the character didn't address this dissonance in the show, and I'm gonna ask you for your intended behaviors, how are you gonna address this dissonance if you was a character? Okay, and this is a second question we have for this week's class. So remember, we got 2 questions so far. Just choose one of your best interest. Post your answer on the forum and then pick one of your classmates' answer and comment on their answer. Okay, so that is the lecture for this week's class, and stay safe. I'll see you guys in next week.